Good day and welcome to another start to a week at the plot. It's been a funny old start to the week. Our car, which we've had for almost 20 years now, it hasn't worked because of suspension and various other things for the past year, and we have had it taken away for scrap. So both Richard and I, we didn't talk about this, but we did after the car had gone, after our car had gone. We both mentioned how anxious we had been about the car going. And, it's quite an emotional thing, really, because that car has taken us literally on so many journeys. I mean, Richard and I have been together for 28 years. That car has been with us for 20 years of those 28 years. We've been to Guernsey. We've travelled to Hewenden Manor with mum and dad in it. We've been to see Richard's family. I've used it for work. I've travelled to the Liverpool Empire and the Sunderland Empire to see opening nights of shows in it, and travelled back late at night, getting home at like 4-5 o'clock in the morning. And really, we both got quite emotional when the car had gone. Richard stayed inside. He didn't want to see her going. Her, isn't it funny? Didn't want to see her going. So I was outside with the guy and the tow truck. Absolutely lovely guy. Knew so knew what he was doing. But it really was quite emotional. And when I saw him, drive down the road, funny, isn't it? Funny. So many memories, of course, wrapped up in that hunk of metal and material and rubber, and our cats and the visits to the vet with the cats, and oh dear, yes. anyway, what a morning. And then I've gone on to a variety of calls as well. So I've come down, and I remember what Vivi said last week about sowing some seeds for those people who passed on. And there's so many memories in that car that I decided to sow some seeds in memory of our car, which has gone off to pastures new. The great thing is it will be scrapped, and a good number of things in that car are still valuable to people who still have Citroen Xantias or are collecting Citroen Xantias, because they are sort of collectible now. So yeah, it will, or parts of it will have another life, which is great, including the back fin. There was a back fin and apparently an aero something or other. But anyway, it's not on a standard one. It was on ours. Got no idea why. We didn't buy it new. So yes, what have I sown in memory of our car? Well, of course, I have sown calendula. So we had some seeds that Anna had sent us. I think they're called resin or something like that. It's a mixed calendula seed. So yes, playing on words of calendula. And I have sown those, and when they come up, fingers crossed, I will have lots of blossoms to remind me of the happy journeys that we took in that car. So I will leave it there. You don't want to see me crying anymore. I'll see you again tomorrow for another segment of A Week at the Plot. Bye. Good day. We've come inside the shed because A, it's quite blustery out there, but B, our pub is having some renovation work at the moment. It started this week, last week, I think. And I've been told they're turning a meeting room into accommodation space. So, yeah, it's quite noisy. There's quite a lot of banging going on out there. So I've come in here. It's been quite a busy day so far. I have done 2 grow along videos, one sowing celery and the other sowing 3 types of kale. And both of those will be up on YouTube by the time this whole A Week at the Plot is on YouTube. So I'll link to them at that point. So they'll be in the top, what is it, right hand corner? Yeah. What you've just seen me doing now is adding New Horizons vegetable compost to the top of that bed or half bed. That side of the bed we're going to be using to put our Train Driver mountain range peas and the Oregon sugar pod mange 2 plants that we sowed in January. They will be going in that half of the bed, and then we're also going to be direct sowing a few more Train Driver mountain range, Oregon sugar pod, and a golden sweet as well. I think we may have 1 or 2 other varieties of mange 2 that we're putting in, but that will be a mange 2 stroke pea side of the bed. The other side, where I popped a quarter bag of compost, the remaining compost in that bag that I put down, we're going to be direct sowing some broad beans there. I think we'll be doing that tomorrow or the next day. Certainly the Oregon sugar pod and Train Driver mountain range are ready to go in the ground, so we need to get on and do that. The other thing that I have been doing is parceling up some rosemary plants that we have, and some rhubarb, and some perennial Indian perennial kale, and also some buddleia. And that box is going to go down to Vanessa at For Earth's Sake for the For Earth's Sake growing space and therapy garden. And some of the rosemary are going to be planted up at Xander's Memorial Garden as well, which is Vanessa's son, who tragically died quite a few years ago now. Not too many, but yeah, too soon anyway, too soon. So those are going to be going down to Vanessa. Hopefully this afternoon I'll be able to get to the Hermes outlet that we've got so that they can come and collect it. But first of all, I need to take it home. So yeah, it's been quite a busy morning, and I'm pleased with what I've done, and I've got calls this afternoon, so I'm not sure whether I'll be able to get down again later, but hopefully I will. And in fact, we're going to leave it there for the moment, because there's somebody just standing on my pathway having a wave at me. They obviously want to chat about something. So I'm going to go and see what they want. And I'll see you again tomorrow for another segment of A Week at the Plot. Look after yourselves. Bye. Good day. I thought we'd have a look at some of the seeds, or seedlings actually, from seeds that we sowed about 4 weeks ago. I think these were the 23rd of February. Those lettuce are doing fine. Amish deer tongue at the front, and Burpee's iceberg. These are our Brussels sprouts. And then various beetroot in the 3 at the back, the 3 rows at the back, and a poor germination of Goldana turnips at the front, which is a shame. As I was saying the other day, nothing in the Paravere parsley yet, though if we just come over here, I now see there is a spring onion coming up there, which is great. And these are more beetroot. No, they're not. These are chard, so leaf beet in the 2 rows at the back, and perpetual spinach at the front. These are the dazzling blue kale, Nero di Toscana and Portuguese cabbage we sowed yesterday. So actually those are all coming on quite well for a 23rd of February sowing. Let's just go outside, have a look at a few other things. Oh, what I am noticing is our Portuguese cabbage is going to seed, which a lot of people would think, oh no, but you know what, it'll be fabulous for bees. And of course, if we did need to save seeds, when the seeds came, we would be able to save them. But we have so many that we don't need to do that. Just coming up here, these are our raw beans from our highly scientific experiment. And I noticed in one of them, look, there's a little ladybird. They need to go in the ground soon. You can see it's splitting. We'll do that tomorrow, hopefully. Then corn salad on the right, coriander in the middle, and parsley, giant of Italy, on the left. Doing well. Those were from January sowings. And then nothing in our polyanthus that we sowed. Oh, look. One. Is that a polyanthus? I don't know. Maybe. But you know what? What I am noticing is how dry everything is. Happy daffodils. Oh, and finally, this is our wild garlic, our ransoms. Lovely. Right, as I am noticing it is dry, what I am going to do is A, water, but B, get on and do something that I normally do at this time of year. Let me show you what that is. Yes, it's time for the gravel tray switcheroony. So we have, oh, I can see a heron flying. Oh, and all the parakeets are going after it. Oh dear, start again, Paul. Our gravel tray switcheroony. We have two colours. We have green, which have holes in the bottom, and we have these black ones which do not have holes in the bottom. So as we go into late autumn and winter, where obviously we have much wetter weather, we make sure that we have the green gravel trays which have got holes in them underneath these plants and any cuttings that we may have, to make sure that they do not sit in water, and when it rains heavily the water drains away. As we get into March and April, we do exactly the reverse. Generally, we will be getting drier weather as we go forward. We will be getting a bit of rain over the coming days, but generally we'll be getting drier weather. So what we do is we switch over to the black trays without holes, so that it's much easier for us to water. Because when we water these now, the water will remain in the black trays because there is no holes in the black trays, rather than the green trays where it would drain out through their holes. A very simple thing, and it's something that I diarise, well, each year, switching out one for the other in autumn and spring. So there we are. I'm going to leave it there today. What I am going to do now is give all of these a really good water, even though we're due rain. Good day. It's a bit breezy at the plot today, but I'm still going to get in our train driver mountain range, Mange 2, and the Oregon sugar pod into the ground. At the end here, just see, we still have our sweet peas, which will be going in over the next couple of days. But first of all, let's get these train driver mountain range and Oregon sugar pod in. They're going to be going down this side of the bed, and as you may remember, if you watch A Week at the Plot regularly, we put some additional vegetable compost on top. This is a quarter of a bag that we're going to put over here when we put some broad bean seeds in, but 3/4 of the bag went on to the side here, just to add additional nourishment. First thing I'm going to do is just rake this off a little and then put my line down, because we're going to be sowing and planting on either side of a line. I've now taken the Mange 2 plants out of their modules which they were sown in. On the left we have Oregon sugar pod and the seeds. On the right here we have train driver mountain range, and these are the seeds at the front here. We've only got, I think, about 8 left, which are going to be direct sown. And then over here we have golden sweet, which was a new variety to us last year and did incredibly well. We really enjoyed it. There's also Mr. Bethel's purple podded to sow, but I can't find that one at the moment, so I'm going to have to sow that later on. Maybe I've left those seeds at home. First of all, let's get these plants in. We have 4 plants per module of both the train driver mountain range and the Oregon sugar pod. What I'm doing is I'm just zigzagging them. I'm not sure if you can see from that angle, but I'm going to be just making a hole, popping these in and then pressing them in. Making a hole maybe 3 inches this side of this line and 3 inches this side of this line. Making a hole, firming them in. I'm leaving about 8 inches here. Hole, in they go, firm in. In they go, firm in. Now these do have tendrils. I'm not sure if you can see here the tendrils. Not sure if that'll go into focus. They sort of cling on to each other and hold each other up, but they're going to need, these are going to need something to climb up as well. So we're going to be putting bamboo along this line once we take it out. I'll show you that a bit later. Let's just get these in. Okay, those are my plants in. What I'm going to do now is just sow the seed. I've got my all-important label. So these peas, about 3 inches this side, just putting my finger in and letting the pea drop. Putting my finger in, letting the pea drop. And I'm planting them only a couple of inches apart. Obviously these here, clusters sown, are just a couple of inches apart themselves, but in clusters of their modules. You can do a drill if you want to. We don't do drills. A drill is a sort of flat base area. Just going to miss one there. I'll put one in there. And then put my label there. Now I'm going to put it there, then I'll be able to see it. Now I'm going to do exactly the same for the Oregon sugar pod. At the end here are the Train Driver Mountain Range. Then we have some seeds between these plants of Train Driver Mountain Range. Then the Oregon sugar pod plants. Then seeds in this area. What I've decided is that I'm going to sow the golden sweet in this area up here. And instead of using this area for broad beans, I'm going to do a small row of the purple broad beans, which have purple flowers, down here. Change of mind, but that's fine. And I think the Mr. Bethel's purple podded may actually go into one of our new pocket beds. Now I need to remove this line and start putting in some bamboo. job done, at least with the Train Driver Mountain Range and the Oregon Sugar Pod. That's the plants planted out, and then the remainder of the Train Driver Mountain Range seeds direct sown, and also Oregon Sugar Pod direct sown as well. Then I put the bamboo canes in, one at either end and one in the middle, and then, as you saw, twined twine around. And as those pea plants grow, I'll add additional layers of twine, string, to those bean poles. If at any point I think that the amount of plant and leaf on those structures is getting too much and we're getting heavy winds, I will put a rebar, which is a strong metal bar, on either end and lash the bamboo canes to that rebar. As I said, I've rethought the golden sweet, and I'm going to do those in a square at the end of the bed and put some additional broad bean seeds in between Vivi's broad beans and the Oregon Sugar Pod. So I know where I'm going. And then the Mr. Bethel's purple podded, I think, will go into a wigwam affair in one of our pocket beds. But we'll come on to that another day. So this is forming, if I haven't said already, part of our Grow Along series, this segment of a week at the plot. We sowed those Train Driver Mountain Range and Oregon Sugar Pod in the modules on, I think it was the 23rd of January. I'll link to that video here. And then we've let those grow on in modules and planted them out today. And we've also direct sown the same seeds in the ground. Right, I will leave it for there. I will leave it there for today. As you can see, the sun is going in and out with the clouds again. And I'll be back with you tomorrow for another segment of A Week at the Plot. Bye. Good day. And it's going to be a bit of a quiet afternoon and rest of the day for us. Richard and I, neither of us slept very well last night and are feeling a bit today. I had things that I needed to do for Earth's sake this morning and a couple of other things for another potential client. So I got those done. And with quite a busy day yesterday, getting those Train Driver Mountain Range and Oregon Sugar Pod peas planted out and also sown, I decided to do a quiet job today. So I am going to be potting on our Azorius Blue sweet peas. So these were seeds that Anna sent us. Thank you very much, Anna. And they're quite interesting because they are definitely sweet peas, but the leaf looks slightly different to the sweet peas I normally know. Let me show you. Here they are. Quite slim leaves and quite blade shaped leaves. Maybe it's just me. I haven't regularly sown sweet peas, but they seem to me a bit longer than normal and thinner than normal. But the plants themselves are absolutely fabulous. Really nice and strong. So we've sowed 4 seeds in each of these 3 cells, and 4 seeds have come up in each of these 4 cells. So what I'm going to be doing is popping them into this that I have brought from home, and then they'll be going to the side of the shed. So I'm just going to fill this up with compost now, pot these on, and then we'll look at them when they're in situ. This will be their home from now on. There's a hook right at the top here that I'll be able to tie them up to. And as with everything, when you do something, you notice something else. So right here we have an oregano, which is
being rather overcome with grass, so I'm going to need to sort that out this weekend. Yeah, let's just have a closer look. It will be a nice position for the Azorius blue sweet peas. But yeah, look at all this grass down here. Gonna need to get all that out. Our grass is mainly weed, but there we are. Anyway, that's for another day. Let me just give you a shot of the oregano on the other side of the door. This oregano is really doing well this year. I mean, I could harvest from it now, and these are the poached egg plants that Vivi gave us, and a lungwort and a geranium, and then we've got some thyme here, and that over there is another sedum. Yeah, I think that there is a weed. Yeah, few tidying jobs to do, which will be fine. I'll put those down in my notebook for the weekend. So that's it. Sweet peas done for the year and potted on. I'm going to give them a nice water now, but we're due more rain today anyway, so they should get some lovely fresh water as well from the skies. Okay, see you again tomorrow. Bye.
Good day and welcome to a little bit of seed sowing, but not seed sowing that I had expected to do at the beginning of the month. So today is the day that I'm finally getting my hands on Jane's melons and Jim's seed. And I am absolutely delighted to be taking part in their hashtag Transatlantic Melon Challenge. So what are we going to be sowing? Well, Jane has very kindly sent us some cantaloupe melon, Minnesota midget, which I think is one that Jim grows, and also some watermelon sugar baby. Now we've got 4 seeds in each of these packets, and what I'm going to be doing is sowing them individually in modules in our polytunnel. If you want to see how to do it properly, then go over to Jane's channel and Jim's channel. I'll put details below and you'll be able to see how they are doing it as part of their hashtag Transatlantic Melon Challenge. I'm going to give these nicknames. As the sugar baby watermelon has got baby in it, I'm going to call it Babs. Or I'm going to call them Babs, fingers crossed. And the Minnesota midget, I'm going to call Pamela. So we're going to be sowing Pamela and Babs today. Let me show you what I'm going to be doing. So I have my name tags. Let's do Babs first. Look at those seeds. Quite clearly watermelon seeds. I'm just pushing one down just over an inch, about 1.5 inches. And then Pamela. Much paler and very, very similar to cucumbers. Again, just over 1 inch deep. And then just topping them up, making sure you get into that hole. So you want compost going into that hole and touching the seed at the top so that the seed is completely covered up and touching compost. I like to just rough up the surface. That's those sown.
What we are going to do is we're going to be keeping them in the polytunnel, though we are going to put a propagator lid on top. Sleep tight, Babs and Pamela. So hopefully all of those seeds will germinate and grow. We won't have room for all of them. We're going to be growing them in the polytunnel here. We'll have Richard and my aubergine at the front, and then we'll be squeezing Jane and Jim's melons behind. So hopefully there'll be enough room here for all of them. At the moment, we've only got 2 plump aubergine plants because no other seeds have germinated. So fingers crossed with those. Otherwise, we might just have melons. But hopefully we'll have hearty handful melons and we'll be able to harvest those later in the year. I would have thought around September, October, something like that. I don't know. I haven't grown melons since I was 11. We'll have to wait and see. Right, I'm going to leave it there and I'll see you again tomorrow for another segment of A Week at the Plot. Thanks very much, Jane and Jim, for the fun. Looking forward to taking part and seeing how everyone does. Bye. Good day. It's been and is going to continue to be a pottering day today. So I've turned the water back on for the whole site for the growing season and obviously checked all the taps, and we'll be keeping an eye on the the counter thing, the meter. We'll be keeping an eye on the meter to see how that water is flowing. At the moment, I turned all the taps open to make sure that they are flowing, turned them all off, and have gone back and looked at the meter, and the meter's not moving at all. So that means that the whole system is pressurized and there doesn't appear to be any leaks. So that's great, but we'll watch the meter over the coming days and weeks. And then I've been hoeing some of the beds, as you've seen. I weeded the onions and the garlic yesterday. As I've said before, onions and garlic do not like being crowded out by anything, and weeds particularly will, they'll harm the growing of the onions and the garlic. So please do weed your onions. And also the roots. If you leave weeds in, the roots of weeds or the roots of anything attract quite a lot of moisture, and that moisture gets held in the soil. So if you don't weed your onions and garlic in particular, it could create a moist environment underneath the soil, too moist, which could bring about white rot, which we certainly don't want in alliums. So yeah, it's just going to be a pottering day today, and I'm thinking next week I'll be starting on the front perennial bed. First of all, I need to decide what I'm going to do with all that jumbo bag of compost. I was going to look at that this week. I haven't, and we'll have a look at it next week. But yeah, today is just going to be a pottering day. So I will leave it there, and I will see you again for another A Week at the Plot next week. Or if you're on Planet Vegetaria, I'll see you again for another segment tomorrow. Have a good week, everyone. Bye.